Candice, could you do roll call, please?
Director Kinjo. Cat 2. Hobart. Hernandez.
That was a muted here.
Hernandez.
Here.
Hudson.
Here.
Kick. King Tingle. McPartland.
Here.
Neram.
Here.
Rickman. Stepper.
Here.
Vargas.
Here.
Warner.
Here.
Wright. Zuba.
Here.
Chair, you have a quorum.
Thank you so much. With that, we will
Howard is here.
open.
Sorry, I'm late.
No, thank you,
We got you.
Supervisor. We'll move on to item 3, public comments. As a reminder, this is an agenda, it's an item on the agenda for things not agendized. And you have 3 minutes to make any comments from the public. Do we have any members of the public wishing to address the board?
I do. I have one person with a hand raised. Adrian Brandt.
Perfect. Adrian, you have the floor. You had 3 minutes.
Okay, thank you, directors, for this opportunity. I have emailed you on this topic before, and I have, as you may recall, made a comment before. I would like to, again, just make a pitch for you to be extremely cautious about putting all your eggs in one basket in terms of planning for hydrogen-powered trains. Battery technology every day in the news is improving. Porsche is all over the news, just made a $400 million investment in a new silicon battery technology that is supposed to, claims will increase battery energy density by 50% and reduce charging times to as little as 10 to 5 minutes. So this is, of course, early days, but so too is it with green hydrogen. Green hydrogen has many drawbacks because the electricity used to produce it, there's so much energy lost at every stage. In the production stage, you have losses. In the transportation and compression stage, and the fueling stage, and converting it back into electricity in your vehicle. Hydrogen, of course, many people don't seem to understand, is not an energy source whatsoever. Just like a battery, hydrogen is an energy storage medium. So think of hydrogen as a lossy battery. Batteries do not have as much trouble with losing charge in the short term. Hydrogen tends to leak, and also new research papers show has 11 times more harmful effects on global warming as CO2, and hydrogen, being a very small molecule, escapes extremely easily, called fugitive leaks. And those leaks occur at many stages of the production process. So instead of becoming an energy producer and putting all your eggs on that basket right now, you need to proceed on 2 tracks and consider in-motion battery charged vehicles. And you can fully electrify your own tracks up Altamont grade so that vehicles can be fully recharged all the time. And you can run over UP's tracks on battery power. So this is a track and an opportunity that you need to keep open, and do not tie yourselves into building and owning an expensive hydrogen production facility, which then becomes potentially an albatross around your neck if that doesn't go well, because again, it's very early and speculative. All the promises about green hydrogen are all essentially future hype, and it may turn out to work, but I will remind you that everyone thought maglev would be the thing of the future and replace high-speed trains, and it absolutely has not done so. But all the smart people thought maglev was the way to go over 30 years ago, and it has completely failed. Germany has dismantled
Time.
its maglev program. So just keep that in
Thank you,
mind. Thank you.
Adrian. If you
It
can
would
wrap
help
it
if
up.
you put a timer up in the future. I did not have a timer on the screen, just FYI.
My apologies.
Thank you, Adrian. Is any other members of the public wishing to speak?
Anyone, I do not have anyone else with a hand raised.
Perfect. Thank you, Candace. With that, we will bring it back to the directors. And we have an action item, a consent item agenda. Recommend approval of the consent item agenda from April 13, the treasurer's report from March 2022, and a resolution declaring the agenda, the agency meeting will continue to be held via teleconference. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Move to approve.
I have David Hudson and who else?
Zuber will second.
Thank you, Director Subra. So move by Director Hudson and second by Director Zubrio. Roll call, please.
Director Hobart,
Aye.
Hernandez,
Aye.
Hudson,
Aye.
King Tingle, didn't get her. McPartland,
Aye.
Neram,
Aye.
Stepper,
Aye.
Vargas,
Yes.
Warner,
Yes.
Zuber.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you, Candace. Moving right along to agenda number 5, the draft budget fiscal year 2023. This is an informational item. Our ED, I believe, will make the presentation, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, thanks, Chair, and good afternoon, directors. So this, Candace, are we able to put the draft agenda up? Thank you. Just make it a little easier to see. So this time of year, we're bringing forward, staff's bringing forward the draft budget as we continue to receive funding allocations from MTC to advance the Valley Link project. Funds are received on a reimbursement basis. The work for fiscal year 2023 focuses primarily on the project approval and environmental document phase for the work in 580 and the federal environmental clearance and 30% design. And then included in this work will be the selection of train technology. Rail Authority anticipates that during fiscal year 2023, supplemental funds will flow for the first time to the federal government, and additional funds will also flow from the state. As these funds are received, staff will bring back to the board budget updates and amendments, and then attached and seen on the screen as the expenses related to the budget for staff, consulting contracts, and other direct costs. Our estimate and grand total expenses are $21,740,684, and I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Kevin. I will open it to members of the public for public comment and then bring it to the board for questions and motion. Actually, no, and additional information. So, Candace, do we have any members of the public wishing to speak?
We do not have any members of the public with a hand raised.
Perfect. With that, we'll close it, bring it back to the board. Directors, do you have any questions on the draft fiscal year budget? Kevin, you have done a good job making sure that you answer. Oh,
Chair Hudson would like to speak.
Chair.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
I think this is my first budget and that's just too darn many different boards. Kevin, what is the fiscal year? Are we talking January to December, June to July to October, whatever? What is it?
So it's July 1 to June 30th. So this would be what would be considered technically a fiscal year 2022-23. But it's been identified for the previous board meetings as the fiscal year that it ends in, which in this case, it's 2023. So in June, staff will bring back a budget for the board to approve, and that will become effective July 1.
Okay. I would just say, keep an eye on your travel. I think that's light. Next year's the big APTA conference, and I told you about that hydrogen thing. I don't think it's that much in Sacramento, but wait, that might be this year. I don't have a problem if you go higher on the travel because it's jumped up in price, but you've got to be at these places. I think we all agree. I'm seeing heads shaking. The trip we took to DC, I don't know if we'll be able to match the price again, but it was worth it. And the APTA conference, unquestionably, it'll be in Orlando again. You need to be there. So if it goes over 25, if you have, I don't have a problem with it. That's all, my only comment.
Noted. Thank you, Director.
Thank you, Director Hudson. Any other comments? And I'm sorry, I can't see the screen. I'm on my phone. So if anybody else has his hands resting, can you let me know verbally?
Directors with a hand raised.
All right. Perfect. I want to say yes, Kevin, I echo, and I think you have a full board of directors that want to make sure that you continue engaged, you lobby where you need to lobby, and you go and learn and keep your staff apprised of technology and advancements on technology. So we welcome you and your staff to continue further educating yourself to make sure, as members of the public mentioned, that we stay up to speed with the movements and the technology and the advances on technology. Thank you so much for this item. We appreciate you just informing us, and we'll look forward to seeing the budget for action item and adoption. Moving along to agenda item 6, Executive Director's report. You have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Chair. And so this meeting's a lot about budget. So for my report this month, the legislature has been focused on the budget committee meetings to hear the governor's fiscal year 2022-23 budget proposals. Per the Constitution, the legislature must send a balanced budget to the governor by June 15th, and it must be signed by the governor by June 30th and goes into effect on July 1st, the start of fiscal year 22-23. Before that happens is the May revision, which is something we're eagerly waiting to see. It's supposed to be released this Friday, May 13th, and update figures on available revenues. Early estimates are that the state may have as much as $68 billion surplus. There are additional resources made available through the Federal Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, $9 billion over 5 years. And the state Senate has proposed a $20 billion package for transportation over the next 4 years, with $10 billion being identified up front. Staff, as well as the chair and vice chair and other directors, have made considerable progress in raising Valley Link's profile and articulating our needs and also our consulting firms. We've been diligently working to secure resources to deliver the initial operating segment between Dublin, Pleasanton, and Mountain House, and also the hydrogen fueling station for the Valley Link system. We've had dozens of meetings with the Governor Newsom's senior staff, key secretaries, and directors of state agencies, leadership in both houses of the legislature, and countless meetings with legislators outside of our service area to look for synergistic opportunities to help compel a deal on a transportation budget package. We have secured support, including those from the outside service area, due to collaboration. And some of just names to mention, the regional champions include Senators Eggman and Glazer, and this morning, Senator Wachowski, as well as Assembly members Rebecca Bauer-Cahan and Carlos Villadua. And we just, every meeting we've had, has generated a lot of great discussion and support for this project. And it's been just a pleasure to be able to have those meetings and get the type of questions we're getting about our progress and the amount of money we need to continue the project on. We'll leave it at that.
You have done an excellent job. I want to say to Marianne, to Will, to Candace, helping us with all the materials, and Kevin and your leadership. We are in good hands. The vice chair and I we were present in some of those meetings, if not all of them, and I'm impressed. And I thank you for all that you're doing and making sure that the team continues on. I want to say that in the city of Tracy, Valley Link had lots of kudos, and a lot of people were talking about the Earth Day. So great job in continuing to be in the minds of the citizens that we are intending to serve. Good job, sir. Keep it up. With that, we'll move to item number 7. If nobody has questions. I see no questions, so moving to the
Karen
director's
has her
Chair
hand
discussion.
up.
Stepper would like to speak.
Oh, thank you. And I apologize. I'm in my phone and I don't see hands.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so I just wanted to ask, because we keep getting this information about other kinds of things that are being technology, and you're going to go to the conferences to keep us up, but is there something we could get back? Does the speaker who spoke to us the last couple times have information he's distributed to us that we could read? That would be the public comment speaker. Can you not hear me, Veronica?
I can hear you. I
Oh,
have no comments. I have no
So
comments.
I just, my
Uh,
comment was whether we could get some information back with respect to, since he keeps making the same comment about other kinds of energy.
So
if he-
I will save your comment then for item 7 and the director's discussion comments and agenda request, if that's okay.
Oh, sorry, I
Um,
thought we'd moved to.
that's all right.
So I
That's all right.
apologize.
No problem. So if we're closing number 6 and we're moving to number 7, and Karen duly noted, I will request that Kevin reaches out to see if there's any other technology that Adrian is thinking of, or any comments besides his concerns on hydrogen. But Kevin, I'm sure if you don't have Adrian's contact information, we can probably try to reach out somehow if he can call the Valley Link office and share his contact information with staff. That will be very much appreciated.
I'm happy to do that, Chair, and Director Stepper. I have his email, and
Thank you.
can help clarify some things too with respect to where Union Pacific Railroad's headed and what they will allow and will not allow.
Appreciate it.
Perfect. Thank you,
Thank you.
Kevin.
Putting it into perspective. Thank you.
Absolutely. Is anyone else,
I'd like to chime in on that if I can.
except for Hudson?
Yeah,
I'm
except for
just-
Hudson.
Yes, of course.
The reality here, this is one of the reasons, and I believe Dave Halbert was there too, so if I'm wrong, he can correct me. But this is one of the reasons why I keep pushing to go to the APTA conference. I know Michael Tree spent a lot of time with the people that were dealing with the hydrogen, the fuel cell, et cetera. And I brought back the information, and fortunately, now that it's been around for about 5 or 6 months, I tossed it. But you get to see all of the new stuff that's coming out. One of the problems we're going to hear constantly when people are talking about electricity over hydrogen, hydrogen is a petroleum product. And frankly, there is a strong interest here in doing away with all petroleum products. So there will be all kinds of science that comes out about it, but that's where it is up to us to also get educated on what the potential of this is. And the potential is to be determined down the road. But Kevin, you got to be at this conference because it is the once every 3 years that will be 2 years because we missed one because of COVID. And you're not going to get an opportunity like this again. So that's why I keep pitching these conferences. A lot of new changes.
Good. And I'm sure Kevin is noting that out and making sure that he booked his flight and conference
Understood.
early.
Understood.
Perfect. Is anyone else?
Chair Warner,
Oh, boy.
Ms. Chair, Warner would like to speak.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Mr. Warner.
Yeah, thank you. That's interesting. I usually think of water when I think of hydrogen. There's probably a lot more of that floating around in the oceans than underground. But anyway, I do think the earlier comments are worth thinking about carefully. And so that I think, as we've said in the past, we're going to think this through, and we'll have the right analysis, but that at the stage we're at now, it's worth analyzing it rather than just dismissing it out of hand, and it has some potential. So I just want to stress again, we will thoroughly understand what we're doing before we do it, I believe.
Amen to that. Yes, sir.
Sheriff, I could just add, help the board with some understanding, both the directors and all the directors' comments on the hydrogen.
Go ahead, Kevin. Yes.
Thank you. We're wrapping up the hydrogen proof of concept. And as we do that, we're going to have a comparative analysis of other technologies. So it's not going to just be looked at in a vacuum. It'll be compared to other power sources, or, you know, ability to power trains, and what's really going to be available as far as equipment that's being developed to use different means of locomotive power other than diesel. So we'll have those analysis from a cost perspective too. And then there'll be other factors when we do that, as noted in the budget. I mentioned we'd have a vehicle type selection as part of this year's budget, as part of the environmental process as well. So in that, there are other factors to consider than just cost. I know sometimes we all look at, a lot of times people will look at what's the lowest cost? That must be what we have to select. Sometimes the best alternatives aren't the lowest cost, especially with emerging technologies and, you know, just the change in technology over the next 5 years before we finish construction. So we will have that information for the board, and we're working very hard at developing it. And with the thanks of our ad hoc committee too, that, you know, technical assistance from some of the directors and oversight.
Which we're very lucky to have very smart people in our communities. With that, I'll move to number 8, which is the next meeting scheduled on June 8th. We're ready to adjourn. Do I hear a
Move to
motion from
adjourn.
anybody?
Second.
Perfect.
Thank you.
So move. Thank you, everybody. Have a
But I
nice
might
day.
reconsider during the vote.
Without
It's done.
objection.
Without objection. Yes, thank you.
Thank you all. Good meeting.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye, everybody.